So thank you so much, everyone, for joining the meeting. Some of them could not join because of their customer calls, and some of them had their vaccination scheduled for today. But thank you all for joining the meeting. Thanks you could make it. Once again, good afternoon, everyone. And it's always been a pleasure to meet new faces, new people, though we are e-meeting each other, but it's always a pleasure. So first and foremost, I would like to thank everyone for taking out time and joining us for this meeting. As you all are a part of A4 family now, we thought of having this discussion with you and introduce you to our delivery unit heads, in addition to giving you some insights about the work we do and about the organization. So the agenda of the meeting would be, we'll start with a brief overview about A4, which will be given by our co-founder and managing director, Mr. Mahesh Kulkarni. Post that, our DU heads will share some important points regarding their delivery units. After this, some of us did get a chance to know you, see you over video calls and know much about you, but we would like to include your experience about something regarding your current organization, your professional journey, expectation from your new job, your hobbies. So this will help us know you better. So a brief introduction from your side, followed by our talk. So to begin with, I would like to request Mahesh to give brief overview about A4. Over to you.
Thank you, Neha. So just one point to add to what Neha mentioned. We will also like to basically do question and answer session at the end of this discussion. So any questions that you have in mind, please feel free to talk about those. Welcome, guys. I know that this is a working day for most of us, so we'll try to keep this as brief as possible. However, it is still important because we expect you to associate it with us for the long term, and hence you knowing about us and we knowing about you is equally important. So basically, this is a quick about A4. We started our operations in 2007 as a technology partner to our software product customer. So we are primarily a technology house and we work software product engineering companies largely, or other software product companies, right? So that's our focus area. We are based in Redmond, which is next to Seattle in the Washington state. And Seattle, as many of you may be aware, is called cloud capital of the world, right? Because most of these companies like Microsoft, Amazon, they have their head offices there. And that's where we also have our establishment in US. So we are fortunate to work with fast growing business unicorn in and around Seattle. So we are very well integrated with that ecosystem. Our CEO, Mr. Subodh Parulekar, he is based in Redmond, and he and his team works out of USA. So basically we business unicorns are the companies which are private companies, private organizations. In India, we call them private limited companies, but who have net worth of $1 billion or plus. So those are called unicorns. Other than unicorns, we also work with mid-cap companies which have a net worth of several hundred million dollars, and large cap companies such as Microsoft and Intels of the world. So we'll talk more about it as we go along. But other than Seattle area, that is West Coast, we are not West Coast, I would say Northwest. We are also on the Northeast side. We have a few customers. Then we have a few customers in states. We have some presence in Bay Area, California and around. And then we have a few customers from southern eastern states such as Texas and Florida and etc. Right? Other than USA, we have a few customers in Asia Pacific region, but most of our business comes from US territory. And as I mentioned, we are primarily a technology focused services organization to our product customers. So that's very brief about us. Subodh, in fact, typically addresses such important sessions, but because this time is a little odd for USA, he is in PST time zone, which is almost 12.5 hours behind us. So hence he could not attend it. But we'll be sharing some of his messages to you along with the emails where you can listen to him. Our mission, we are we believe, which is our belief, we want to empower software product organizations to build highly secure, scalable, and efficiently manageable and user-friendly applications with a very high predictability and reliability. So that is our belief, which translates in our dream, which is our vision. We want to be the most trustworthy, highly predictable, and reliable technology partner to the high-tech customers. So that's where we always want to be. Some of our clients, we have all popular customers. Some of the popular customers that you may be aware of, you might have heard of very well. Microsoft, Volkswagen, NetApp, Logitech, and so on and so forth. There are a few other high-value customers, but they may not be as famous as the other popular names. But these are still some of the unicorns or mid-cap or large-cap organizations in US. Business goals. Here are our priority strategic goals. Basically, there are many goals, but I am just listing the ones which you can relate to and which are top on our priority. We would like to reorient our consulting and engineering practices around the cloud ecosystem. So we are just reorienting ourselves to see to it that there is a cloud presence in all of services and practices. Then we would want to build and enhance IP assets in the respective focus areas. We want our delivery excellence to be practice driven. I'll talk about more of IP assets in a few moments. We want to continue to grow a compound annual growth rate of around 20% or more. And we have been doing it for past around 5 years. And we are very confident about continuing the same. Even the last year, which was difficult for the whole industry, we have done relatively well. And Neha will talk more about it during her talk. We are very close to become, and I'm very proud while announcing that we are very close to become a 100 crore plus organization. And with my team, I'm very confident about achieving it and even exceeding it soon. So these are our top priority business goals. Few moments about business philosophy, because this is very important to us. What we talk a lot about culture, but when we finally ask about what is a culture, okay, culture is nothing but set of values that we cherish. And what are those values for us? These are some of the important values that we believe in and we want to cherish. This is respect to people, right? Whether it is a customer or not customer, your colleague, support staff, everybody, we expect each of us to give respect to others. So that is first and foremost. Then ownership and accountability. We believe that ownership and accountability is very, very important. Leadership, we call it as synonym for ownership and accountability. The more ownership and accountability you take, the better or the more important leader you can become. So leadership, we believe, is to be taken like ownership, and it is not given in the organization. Typically, all our leaders are self-made leaders where they have taken more and more ownership and accountability. I am positive energy is another value that we cherish. When we look at a problem that comes in the organization, we believe that each of us look at opportunity to grow, opportunity to leave your thumb impression, right, on the problem by solving that problem, right? Many times when problem comes in the delivery or anything, many times there is this, people want to pass the baton to somebody else and say, this is not my area. I'm not really, and that may not be your area actually. But with this approach, with this attitude, you're looking at the problem as of opportunity for you to help others. And hence you go with, I am positive energy. Whether it's my problem or not, somebody is struggling because of this, customer is struggling, my team member, my friend is struggling, I want to help that person. So that is the value which is called I am positive energy. Then basically the I am positive energy, maybe, I'll talk in one of the other sessions, which I typically talk with our colleagues, basically, where it's whether you are growing in your personal life as well as professional life. That is important. Positive energy is does not just mean that you become a workaholic person and not able to enjoy your personal life, right? So that's balance of work-life integration is important, automatically important when you want to live with a positive energy. Ethics and transparency. This is like, self-explaining. So whenever there are mistakes that happen, we tell people that we should accept our mistake and, proactively tell customers about it while telling a few solutions around it. But then we should not hide any mistakes, right, with the colleagues or the customers, because that may land customers in trouble. That is why ethics and transparency is very, very important, right? So that is a merit is what do you say, valued. Merit is always given, very high value in the organization, and that is a part of ethics and transparency. Betterment of society. Basically, because of the 7 billion people on the planet, there are very few people who can complete their education, very few people who can complete their higher education, very few people who can get the job, stand on their own feet, right? Very few people among those who get the job they like, very few people get the job which involves intellect. And we believe that this lot is some of those lucky people. That is a very small fraction of the 7 billion people on the planet, right? Hence, giving back to society is our responsibility. And with or without CSR, we run a lot of initiatives, right, where we try to give it back to society. Customer engagement. Again, basically, we never treat customer as our God. We never treat customers as God. We treat customers as our friends. So if you have a close friend, the kind of empathy or support or help that you show to your friend, we expect that support to be shown to the customer also. Now, customer is not only a person who's paying for you. Customer is somebody who's dependent on your services. Your colleague, your junior, who is dependent on you, your basically manager or a lead, he or she could be your customer. So basically treat all of them like friends, right? Do not just treat them because somebody is paying us for our services. So that's the attitude that we look at it. Hence, we talk about customer engagement, right? So that's the spirit that we cherish. And this all thing together basically become the values that we cherish with us. Quickly about focus areas. Some of the focus areas at the current focus areas, these change time to time, but for immediate future, these are the focus areas. Cloud enablement and modernization of software products, new data center technologies, cyber security, data analytics, and AI ML. Right? Again, our business heads will talk about it, these more. A quick overview of the technologies that we work, mix of open source and proprietary technologies and platforms. A lot of popular technologies are already here because we are a technology house. People come to us for our technology skills, and we don't really are domain specific people. If it comes to domain, we call technologies our domain. This is one important thing I talked earlier, IP asset creation cycle at A4. Typically, it starts with ideation. A lot of people share the ideas that they believe that can help disrupt the business that we are working on, because fortunately, most of our customers are high-tech customers. So a lot of technology ideas are shared. Some of these ideas are then taken for hackathons where those ideas are implemented. These are typically once in a quarter kind of hackathons, and each hackathon runs roughly for a month or so. And within that, basically, irrespective of whether who wins or not, some of the good ideas are taken by our practice heads, architects, for implementing as accelerators or framework, right, which can be useful to the customers, right? The interesting part of that is marketing team and business development team, they provide all the support for white papers, webinars, talk shows, conferences, and whatnot, where we can represent these solutions. And these solutions are once taken by the customer. The interesting part is that those who have worked on these asset projects, as we call them, or accelerators or solutions, every customer getting onboarded, there is a very handsome monetary reward for people who have worked on it, for mentors who have provided their bandwidth for these solutions. So this is how we believe that entrepreneurship spirit can be inculcated in the organization, right? So every person who's contributing really gets to enjoy this entrepreneurial stint basically. So quickly about our team, Neha Chadda. Neha, you would have interacted, many of you. She is the senior project manager, senior manager human resources with us. She has been a part of A4 family for past 4+ years. She has 14 years of industry experience, and she is heading human resources. She has worked for a considerable period with the InfoChips, and then she joined us. Her hobbies are reading books, writing blogs, and she enjoys dancing. Swapnil Naik, he is the senior director of engineering with us. Swapnil is associated with A4 family for past 5+ years. Swapnil has 22 years of industry experience and is heading delivery and practices of systems and cyber security. He has had long stint of 15+ years with Symantec before joining A4. His hobbies are exploring interesting new technologies and keeping track of associated trends. Abhijit Nadgunda, again Senior Director of Engineering. Abhijit is associated with A4 family for past 2+ years. So Abhijit is heading application designs and development, delivery and associated practices. He's had 20+ years of long stint with Mindtree, and then Abhijit joined us. Abhijit enjoys trekking and cooking. Manoj Kumar is Director of Reliability Engineering. He's part of A4 family for past 2+ years. He also has 20+ years of industry experience, and he's heading reliability engineering, delivery, and associated practices. His previous organizations include IBM, Mars 360, and I2 Technologies. Manoj is a very good sportsman. He has been part of the national basketball team, and he enjoys exploring technologies. Utkal Muradia is another business unit head. Utkal is our Associate Director of Engineering. He's been with A4 for past 2+ years. He has 19 years of industry experience, and he's heading delivery as well as data analytics practice. In his previous organization, again, he has had a very good stint with Mindtree before joining A4, and his hobbies include singing and music. So that's about us. We have had few offices in Pune. At present, we hold one office in Kapil Zenith IT Park in Bavdan, but because of this COVID thing, we had closed down a few other offices because most of the people are working off their homes across various cities in India. So as you know, basically we are having good experience while everybody is working from home. Working from home is going to be a significant part of our culture as we go along. Other than that, as I mentioned, we have a business development office in Redmond in US. So that's about us. With this, let me pause here and I will pass it on back to Neha. So Neha, please take it forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So I would now request Swapnil to go next and discuss about his delivery unit.
Very good afternoon all, and thanks for joining. I'm Swapnil Naik. I'm the Senior Director of Engineering, and I head the systems group at A4 Technologies. So about my experience, almost 22 years of experience, and most of it has been in Symantec, almost around 15 years. We have been working on multiple security products, and past 5.5 years or more, I've been associated with A4 Technologies, and I've been taking care of this group called as Systems. So in the Systems group, our core focus areas are AWS Cloud Computing, Big Data Technologies, Storage Technologies, Backup and Recovery. We have multiple products on next generation data center, networks and virtualization more of hypervisors, cybersecurity. This is a practice that we started around 5 years back. And we also work on private clouds, which is OpenStack. So these are the core focus areas in the Systems group. So what you see now is I have multiple groups within the Systems business unit. So first is the design and development services. Okay. So over here we have a large team who are focused on building, high-tech, very cutting-edge solutions on AWS, using AWS managed services. So we've built SaaS services, cloud platform services, wherein we provide solutions wherein customers who have migrated their solutions to cloud can seamlessly, manage effectively and efficiently their clouds. So more like automation on systems operations kind of use cases and security. So, we have customers who basically are doing data analytics of various types of data analytics, and they ingest huge, petabytes of data on a monthly basis, and we need to, provide next gen big data solutions, right? So we use Glue, we use EMR stacks, S3, and multiple other technologies to provide big data solutions. The design pattern basically is that we use is serverless and microservices based approach. Typical technologies are this all our solutions are basically built over Linux. And the languages used are Python, Java. For front end, we use React and at times even Angular. Okay, and we work on most of the AWS services. On next gen data centers, basically we have working with multiple customers building solutions wherein you can provide insights into your data centers so that they know what are the servers, what do the networks look like, what's the network topology, data communications, ports, etc. Collect a lot of telemetry and provide analytics. And this helps network administrators, network ops, sysops, security ops with different data wherein they can help, which helps them to basically manage their data centers more effectively, more efficiently. Okay. We also have been having very niche skills on fog computing, wherein we are building hardware come software stacks, which basically is used in industrial IoT solutions, wherein customers can basically deploy fog nodes on their premises and send some telemetry back to cloud, and the cloud can do some extra processing and send intelligence back to the fog nodes on the premise and basically help manage their end devices better. Here the end devices, some of the customers that we have basically manage robots using our fog computing solutions. Another product that we are working on is basically hypervisor based technologies OpenStack, where we have built a complete end-to-end backup and recovery service for our customers. And this provides end-to-end disaster recovery. This could be applications hosted on OpenStack, or it could be OpenStack itself. So this is probably the only product that's available in the entire world which provides an end-to-end experience for backup of workloads over OpenStack. So a lot of exciting stuff, a lot of innovation, cutting edge technologies, niche skills, a lot of things to learn. And as you see mentioned below are the technology stacks, the common technologies that we work on. Okay. So that's on design and development services. Next is on automation. So we have a large team basically that works on testing, test automation, cybersecurity, and professional services. So we have in-house built accelerators, frameworks, Python-based, Selenium-based, Java-based, to basically help our customers, speed up on automating their testing, because all the frameworks are readily built and they can just focus on building test cases. So we know how we have huge amount of expertise in automating web solutions, mobile solutions, backend solutions, generating large data, things like that. And a lot of work happens on Dockers and Kubernetes. Right? Cybersecurity, this is a service wherein we help customers do security or pen testing of their web applications, mobile applications, Kubernetes, cloud-based infrastructures. Right? We've been contributing very largely to multiple bug bounty programs. And if you go to our site, you will see that we have won several Hall of Fame awards by very large companies like Nokia, Motorola, etc., Oracle. So that's on cybersecurity. Professional services, yeah, this is area that we are very much focused on, and we are having solution engineers, support engineers who basically help customers deploy their hypervisor-based solutions, manage them, troubleshoot their issues, and provide a high-quality service. So that there's uptime, there's 24/7 business continuity, and all their product issues are resolved, right? And that's primarily on Linux, OpenStack, Kubernetes, Dockers. So we provide this kind of services to multiple customers, and our people have been fortunate enough to work closely with customers. Sometimes from India, sometimes they have to fly to Europe, to US, to Asia, and design solutions based on customer requirements, deploy the solutions and make sure that the solution is running fine, and then fly back to India. So a lot of opportunities in professional services. So that's on the reliability engineering services. The next is in continuation to that, this is an expansion of the DevOps. So we have heavily focused on DevOps, where we provide services on applications operation, typically on OpenStack, Kubernetes, containers. We help customers manage and monitor their clouds. We have engineers who basically help in database maintenance, performance tuning, etc. And basically sysops of functions so that most of the system sysadmin kind of use cases have been automated. So we provide all these services. And we also have built our own accelerators in DevSecOps, which basically helps customers to monitor and identify security issues right from the design phase to the delivery phases. So this is on DevOps. So these are some of the services. As Mahesh said earlier, we are heavily focused into research. We have, besides working on customer projects, we have opportunities for all our employees to contribute to research projects that could be using some of these latest technologies so that they are up to date, with latest tools and technologies that they are very much interested to learn. So once again, thank you for joining in. And yeah, towards the end of the, once we are done with talking, then please feel free to ask your questions. Thanks again. Neha.
Thank you. Thank you, Swapnil, for sharing the details. I would now request Abhijit to share details from his DU.
So I would like to cover a couple of key customers to give a perspective of exactly what happens with the customer. As Mahesh and Swapnil has given the overview of the overall services which we give, I want to give a couple of deep dives into the customers. So the one which we're looking at is into a fleet management. This is one of the largest fleet management customer solution provider in US. Again, if you remember what Mahesh was mentioning about the unicorns, this is one of the unicorn which we work with. Their goal is very interesting. It's more towards the saving energy, saving a lot of debt, which is typically into the, I would say, a save energy and then save money and make the people more profitable. And that is into an industry which is very laborious one, which is nothing but the truckloads. And the entire application is driven and based on AI technology, AI ML technologies, predominantly driven by that. We have an association with this particular one for company for almost 3 years now, and predominantly working into their product development area. If we look at multiple technology stack here, the backend is completely into Node and TypeScript, so it's a JavaScript stack, but it also, and the front end is into a React, backed up by a lot of AI ML, which is a homegrown, I would say homegrown libraries, as well as the tools which they have built. So that's the one about into a fleet management. The second one, again a unicorn. This is again into a complete analytics, which is a speech and search analytics. This is the company which actually helps all the corporates to get more out of their marketing and research budget. So how to make and enhance your business through your marketing channel. That's the analytics on that one. One is the core product of it. So if you look at it, it's a typical calls which happens from the marketing side, or the advertisement which happens, speech analysis and search analysis. These are the three core analytics which this company actually builds. Again, we have been associated with more than 4 years now. Have a large team for both these two customers, close to 25 people each. So overall 50 people plus company is the team here. Again, the technical stack is you name in the world and they have all the technologies to work with. It's a very heterogeneous technology stack because of a lot of acquisitions they have done. And they continues to actually do a lot of acquisitions. So any new startups which have done any smart work into an analytics field, this company actually eyes up by actually kind of acquiring them, which leads up we ending up working on a lot of niche technologies and niche solutions. Again, backend is into almost everything what would look for barring, I think few I don't see a .NET here. Front end is pretty much the typical popular stack right now. What we give here is right from architecture, design, and implementation. A lot of data engineering work happens because it's analytics. We have close to 70 different data pipelines which we work on, again into completely AWS ecosystem. We do a QA, DevOps work, and a customer success as well. So a complete 360-degree solutions and services have been provided to this particular customer. Again, this is very short one. These are picked couple of fun to give a flavor of what we do. More to over to actually Neha.
Thank you, Abhijit, for sharing the details. Let me go next now and share a few details from the HR perspective.
So Neha, can I interrupt here for a minute?
Yes, please.
I just quickly walk through for 2 minutes about what we do in application reliability engineering, because
yes.
Our respective director, reliability engineering director, Manoj, is down with COVID, so he can't speak. So I will just cover up quickly for him. So applications reliability engineering, it comprises of functional as well as non-functional testing as well as DevOps services. Systems, we have two groups, like one classification dimension is systems versus applications. Systems is where infrastructure, data center technologies, cloud ecosystems are supported. And applications are typically B2B or B2C applications that are developed using that infrastructure. So all SaaS kind of applications typically come into this segment, or PaaS and IaaS kind of applications typically go into systems arena. So the services that we offer at a senior level, test strategy, DevOps strategy, and so on and so forth. There are certain services of designing frameworks, pipelines, and so on and so forth are in the design side. And planning and execution, it includes basically cloud ops, DB ops, SysOps, test automation, functional and non-functional testing, automation, and so on and so forth. So this is in general high-level overview. In the interest of time, I'm just speeding up. So a quick overview of the technologies again that typically are used. Again, because most of the customer are product companies, enterprise customers like banks and manufacturing companies and travel and tourism and so on and so forth. All these oil and energy, these kind of enterprises, they are slow at moving when it comes to technologies, but product engineering companies, they are always on the top. If there is a mobility a trend, then they would want to introduce mobility. There is an AI/ML trend, then they want to introduce AI/ML. Because of that, we also need to be always on our toes, and then we have to introduce new technologies. So you will see a lot of technology thing. Good part is that we are like it's working with us is like working as a part of 50 plus product companies. So you can contribute on multiple projects through assets, IP, frameworks, accelerators, and contribute to solving many problems. And then also get advantage of visibility across the organization. DevOps, again, there's a lot of tools into various phases of DevOps. So in the interest of time, I'll just walk through one or two random case studies here actually, where there is this fintech customer, the third case study, where provided QA services for their established that as a part of their engineering cycle and then introduce automation. We also did some security testing here for this particular customer. Network analytics, second case study, we basically have variety of browsers and OS combinations. So we kind of given them a very elaborate, designed a very elaborate framework for them, and then which had a very good element of cloud. Then okay, one more case study related to the middle one, that is deployment of a healthcare related application on Azure with a Kubernetes cluster. So we again, this is a DevOps heavy. So we configured all their AKS, Azure Kubernetes cluster for them, and designed CI/CD pipeline. So there are like so many such case studies, but I just pause here basically, and I'll pass it on to Neha further. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much. Let me just present my screen now. So let me just share a few things. So successful professional life for all of us is one that has good balance of sense of achievement, then social connect and monetary benefits. And till now, all of us were very sure about the social connect part till the time pandemic hit us and we realized that, oh, this is also a big thing, right? So staying connected is very important. And that's where I believe personally that the concept of office space, staying connected, talking to each other, finding solution would have evolved. Pre-COVID time, almost all of us used to spend more time in office than at home. And every day, specifically at A4, used to be a happening time with almost 300 people working together. So we used to talk to each other. We used to have various events with each other, celebrate things. And it used to be a very happening time. COVID mandated all of us to work from home, and something that is mandated, it takes its own toll over a period of time. So initially, all of us enjoyed. We thought that it's very good not to travel, not to get up early in the morning, dress up, go to office. But over a period of time, we realized that human beings are social animals, and if we don't stay connected, at times, we start feeling that this is not the way of life we wanted. So after some time, people started missing office. We started getting calls that, we are missing tea and coffee sessions. We are missing seeing each other, being with each other. And we gave it a conscious thought. So along with the leadership team, HR team, a lot of the other support functions, we gave it a conscious thought that what can we do in this virtual world to make people stay connected, for A4 family to stay connected. And for that, we said that, okay, how do we handle this COVID challenge? So based on the feedback that we received from the A4 team, we overcame this challenge. We started doing a lot of things. We started having a recreation hour. So every day between 4 to 5 p.m., Monday to Friday, we have a recreation hour whereby we have a lot of sessions related to music, related to instruments, dance, then meditation sessions, yoga sessions, which is helping people to stay connected. We started having virtual birthday celebrations within the teams. We started having recreation events in the area of music, entertainment, GK, and other activities. So still we are talking to people and trying to understand their interest areas and trying to build solutions around that. We started having org-wide chat shows and coffee shows. By this, we mean that people who've been a part of A4 family for a longer duration, we thought that people are not getting chance to see them. People are not getting chance to know them better. So we've started having chat shows whereby we talk informally to them. We ask about their hobbies. We get to know them better. And in turn, it is becoming very easy for all of us to stay connected. We have team meetings from HR side with people to understand about their well-being, about their families, about what do they want for us to do better so that they feel at peace, they feel connected. And still with the feedback, we are evolving. We are trying to do better things day in and day out. And specifically in these team meetings, we do not talk about project and work at all. This is completely to understand their well-being, if they need any help from us, if there's anything where they are stuck, and we can be of any help to them. So in turn, the teammates also get to interact with each other. They try to understand what is happening with everyone. And it's helping us to stay connected again. We still have online org-wide town hall meetings. We used to have that in the past, which used to be a very big affair, all of us being together in the cafeteria on the floor. But we thought, let's not stop that. Let's have that virtually. So we now also have org-wide town hall meets where we get to know about our business side. We get to know what we are doing and how we are improving day by day. And that's helping everyone to understand the business side of the organization. So as I said, we continue to evolve. We continue to check on how can we have better ideas in place? How can we introduce new ideas based on the collective feedback? And I'm sure we'll do better in the coming days as well. Yeah, so now moving on to HR team is proud of certain things. And let me tell you, I'm extremely proud of this. So last year, when the entire industry was laying off people, people did not have visibility of what is in store. A4 did not lay off a single member of A4 family. And again, I'm extremely proud of saying that we call ourselves A4 family. We do not say that, we are a set of employees working together. We call ourselves A4 family. So we did not lay off a single member of A4 family, neither did we have salary cuts. So that is something that is remarkably different from the other organization. Instead, we started recognizing people as early as July 2020, which was a very tough time for everyone. We gave away performance incentive to deserving employees last year, whereby people felt motivated because it was really difficult to have a paradigm shift. It was indeed a paradigm shift where people had to have that work-life integration. Earlier, we used to call it as work-life balance. At a later point, we realized that it is not work-life balance. It is integrating your work life and doing best possible thing, right? So we started recognizing people as early as July 2020. Even in the longer run, we realized that it is important to recognize people, to motivate people, and we preponed our appraisal cycle. Where industry was skipping the appraisal cycle, we preponed our appraisal cycle to December 2020, which is 3 months earlier. We used to have our usual cycle in the month of April. We realize that it is time to recognize people. It is time to motivate them. It is time to recognize the efforts that they have put in during the pandemic time. So we preponed our appraisal cycle by 3 months and we completed everything in January 2021. Not only that, back in March 2020, when the pandemic started, we even at that time had a vision that, this is not going to stop. This is not going to be something which will be over in some months, though all of us thought that it should be and we prayed for it, but that did not happen. So we had this vision even last year, and from the comfort perspective, from the perspective that people should feel that they are getting every possible help from A4 family, we started with a concept of internet allowance and furniture allowance. So furniture allowance is something that we thought that it is extremely important for all of us to sit in right posture when we are working. And in the longer run, it takes a toll on your health. So we thought that it is important to give furniture allowance. And this does not depend upon any reimbursement per se. It goes as a part of salary. So internet allowance and furniture allowance goes as a part of salary for all of us. We will be covering the vaccination cost as well for all of our employees, contractors, as well as interns. And for people who were in Pune, we had a vaccination drive last Saturday. So we thought that people who are in Pune, we can help them in terms of getting slots because it was really difficult to go on CoWIN, book appointment and get appointments. So we had a very good vaccination drive last Saturday where people, their family members, everyone came in and they got themselves vaccinated. We hope that this period would end soon, and with this vaccination in place, we will get to meet each other. But these were certain steps taken from A4 family, and HR team is extremely proud of these things. Yeah. So as A4 family, it is not that we just think of A4 as a family. We think that it is important to give back to the society as well. So in the past, we have made significant contribution as a part of CSR in the field of education, environment, etc. However, keeping in mind the need of the hour, we have made noteworthy contribution towards needy hospital this year. And we are also thinking of newer ways in supporting people during this tough time. So we are still coming up with certain projects, and we have a CSR committee in place. We take up some projects in a year, and we ensure that we take it to completion. Moving to rewards and recognition. So this slide is here because I got a few questions during my assimilation meetings last time where people wanted to know what do we do in the field of rewards and recognition. So as highlighted by Mahesh as well, we believe that there is a technocrat as well as entrepreneur in each one of us. And as an organization, we believe that performance leads to recognition, recognition leads to respect, and respect leads to authority. This is a vicious circle. So one by one, people fall in either of the categories during your career, right? So we have certain rewards and recognition activities that are designed for ourselves, that are designed according to the concept in mind. So we have A4 Meet rewards, which is value addition in the project is recognized, and we have an org-wide event. Earlier, it used to be with everyone together in the office, but as I said, we did not stop anything even when we went virtual. So we now have virtual video events, which happens every 2 months, and value addition in the project is recognized. We have hackathons and special incentive projects. So these are the events that are conducted periodically. As we speak, we've recently had a very good hackathon event, a gala event, so to say. And though this was a virtual one, people participated so well and we had such a good session. We'll be declaring the results in the forthcoming week. However, all the participating teams did extremely well and they showcased whatever they could do. We also have asset project milestone recognition. So when people work on the asset projects or IP creation, the significant milestones are recognized in org-wide events that happen. And basically, asset projects are also at times outcomes of the hackathon and special incentive projects that we have within the organization. So these are the things on rewards and recognition. And these were certain things that I wanted to share from the HR perspective. If you have any queries with respect to any other topics, feel free to ask us.